Welcome back. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you appreciate this black news. If you're really woke, Delegate Stacey Plaskett was speaking at a Black Congressional Caucus Foundation annual legislation conference on the 21st of Thursday, September 2023. She said that some of the nation's, most influential black leaders have said that many threats to the democratic institutions appear to be aimed squarely at their community. What in the hell does that even mean, do you ask? Well, I don't know. Does that is that in reference to Biden sending, $200 billion to Ukraine and not to the black community? Is that in reference to possibly the outrageous, outlandish amounts of crime that happen in the black community that are caused, once again, by the Democratic, i.e. Joe Biden's? Wait a second. Hold on. Wait, let's keep reading. They used a wide-ranging forum at the annual meeting of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation as a call to action to ensure that the interest of black Americans, and I want you to know that while I'm reading this article, that is actually underlined and highlighted in blue. The interest of black Americans are not further eroded. Delegate Stacey Plaskett said, "The attacks, and I quote, on our democracy are happening on all fronts." Sorry, that was Nicole Austin Hillary, president and CEO of the foundation. She said that they are grounded in a, quote, racist view of America, and they all depend on misinformation and often downright deceit. Now, what's interesting about this misinformation thing, if you don't know already, the Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, the new app, which is called X, run by Elon Musk, a conservative who took his entire Tesla, world's first electric car company, out of the Democratic state of California to the Republican red state of Texas because he was not able to flourish in the Democratic state of California, recently took over the entire misinformation shred and started to really appropriate the right freedoms to online speaking. And he started doing that by spending $243 billion to buy X or Twitter or whatever, however much he spent, right? And that was because misinformation was so dangerous, right? And misinformation is actually more of a democratic tool or more of a propaganda tool used by the left. And it's also used in conjunction with high emotional instances, which is why you always see somebody getting hurt by the police in the streets and the BLM and then this and then that, the victim mindset. It's meant to create this ruse. And this is nothing different than that. Let's continue reading. As one example, they refer to the state and local controversies over, quote, critical race theory, an academic concept centered in the notions that racism is inherent in the country's institutions. It has become a familiar talking point for the Republican lawmakers across the country as they have restricted how race can be taught, even though there is little evidence that critical race theory is being taught in K through 12 schools. The article continues to say, Kimberly W. Crenshaw, a law professor who helped develop the concept, said it was part of a widespread attack on black history. We have to recognize what we're fighting for right now is not just the election or the election after that, she said. We're fighting for our right to be here for the rest of this century and beyond. If you were to listen to black people, you would think that literally white people are marching down the road right now with pitchforks, lit crosses, and planting them in every single black person's yard. If you were an outsider looking into America, and guess what? That's what outsiders think is happening in our country. When you look at the comments on YouTube, especially like on the Second Amendment and gun-related channels, people think that it's like shootings every day in America and that America is this wild, wild west, wicked emporium of outlandish sins, desires, and befuddlements of mankind. Like, people think that America is going crazy, and that's because of this misinformation on the news. It's because every time you turn on the news, you're hearing these people tell you how bad it is, how much of a slave we still are as black people, and how much of a slave we're always going to be in America unless we just have another revolutionary war of some sort. Unless we just we stop it somehow. What does that even mean? Well, we have to put a stop to this. If you're watching my videos and my GIFs, you see that a lot of these GIFs, these politicians and political leaders are speaking as if we're getting ready to literally arm ourselves and enter the battlefield and start firing bullets. They're speaking as if that's the necessary solution for what we're going through right now. When really, in reality, I'm in one of the most racist areas in Texas. I'll go right to my neighbor's house right now, go knock on his door, and he's going to give me sugar, candy, gasoline for my motorcycle, and anything else I might need. That's the reality of the situation. I'm going to continue on a little bit further. And I want to just say this before I even really I'm getting ready to make another video here in a bit. And it's about this Justin Gaethje, or maybe it's not. I'm sorry. Justin Gaethje's an MMA fighter. What the hell? Justin Gaethje's a white dude. They're going to be like, what the hell? It's just Justin. Y'all remember the Tennessee lawmakers that were disbanded from the Tennessee whatever it might be? The dudes with the afro, and everybody was like, "Oh my god," like, "Oh my god, the racism is alive and well." Yeah, don't worry, we're getting ready to talk about that. And don't let me say, racism is alive and well. I want to say that, but remember, the only way to beat racism is how collectivism, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day.